What's up?
Oh, hello there.
Tyler, Keith, Pugdom, here with a movie review. We're going to talk about Fantastic Beast, The Crimes of Grindelwald, which is the new Wizarding World of Harry Potter movie.
Yeah, I forgot that. Which there's going to be more. I mean, they're going to ramp up stuff after this Fantastic Beast thing. I mean, they have like a company, the Wizarding World,
Yeah.
So there's going to be a lot. They're going to keep making movies even after the 3 more of these movies that they're making, which is,
Yeah. Second Fantastic Beast movie, sequel to Fantastic Beast and Where to Find Them, from a few years ago.
2016.
Yeah. So, the Harry Potter Wizarding World is like your favorite thing ever.
It's one of my favorite
So you're like
things.
the expert. I just watched all of these movies this year for the first time. I haven't read the books or anything like that. So you are way more knowledgeable than I am on such subject matter. But
I know some stuff.
there's stuff and things.
I don't surf Pottermore as much as a lot of other people do, and so, the really out there stuff that gets thrown up on there once a month or however often that website gets updated, I'm not all that well versed with, but if it's in the books, maybe. I read them at least once a year. I like it because I like those books so much. So
the first movie was interesting, and I felt it had a kind of playful nature to it. It was fun.
I really liked the first movie, and I wish this movie it lost a little bit. Like you said, the playfulness, it lost a little bit of that, which it kind of had to, but it's maybe like one of my major gripes with this one is that it's definitely a much more serious movie.
Very serious. I mean, it has the moments of playfulness. You see Newt with his creatures that he has. Like, I always enjoy that stuff. I always enjoy, and once again, I'm not super well versed in this stuff. What is that little like Psyduck looking furry
it's a
fucking
niffler.
thing?
It's a niffler.
I love that thing.
Niffler. He's
God.
I don't know if we knew his name in the first one. His name's Lucky. I picked up on that.
Lucky, that's right. Yeah,
which I'm like, all right.
Which, the beginning of the first movie is amazing with that.
Yeah.
When Newt's trying to track that thing down, it's awesome. And he that thing was really cool in this movie. I love that. So you see some of that stuff, but overall, other than that, I mean, this movie is incredibly serious the whole time. The only other bright spot I felt was from time to time was Dan Fogler's character. He's cool in this movie. He brings a lightheartedness to this movie at times, but even then, he gets sucked into the seriousness of it all. And there's nothing wrong with it being serious at all. All the time. But that was something that I really enjoyed about the first movie. It's just a little bit more lighthearted. But like you said, this movie kind of had to be for where they're taking the story as a whole.
I almost wish, and this is going to be a weird thing, and I was going to get into this later, but I guess it works now. I almost wish this wasn't a Fantastic Beasts movie. Like, that stuff's cool, but it seems like and I did enjoy a lot of that stuff, but it seems like a lot of that stuff was like, well, it's a Fantastic Beasts movie, so we have to have these things in. Like, there's like these, spoiler, there's like well, it's not too big, there's like these cat things that are guarding the ministry, and I'm like, you're there because you need more creatures. Like, and I'm like, that was the one thing, which is, I guess we're going to get into actually some of the,
The only thing I would say to that is I feel that's the one thing that sort of sets it apart a little bit from the mainline like Harry Potter movies.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because otherwise you might as well throw Harry Potter on there and then that'll draw even more people in.
Yeah.
Even though it's not necessarily.
Yeah, I mean, so it's not. It's just a minor gripe. I mean, that's because, like I said, I also very much enjoyed all that stuff. Which kind of comes because like that was my one worry when the trailers and I kind of the name and when you find out the direction that this movie was going, I was like, oh, how's it going to balance that? Because it's kind of two competing ideas of the Fantastic Beasts, and then it's not the first Wizarding World, but the whole thing with Grindelwald in like the 1920s up until the 40s. It's like, I was like, oh, is it going to be weird? But I think they did it. They did the best they could with that, and I think that's definitely really cool. I thought they did a lot of stuff with some of the characters that I did not expect. There's some stuff with Lita Lestrange, who's played by Zoe Kravitz, Lenny Kravitz's daughter, which is awesome. And then, Queenie, they do some really... I did not expect some of the stuff they did with her. We'll get into the specifics with the spoilers, but they kind of... It's weird for me, and I think I said this when did I review the first one? I think I did. Mm-hmm. It's weird going into a Harry Potter or Wizarding World-esque movie and not already having at least a really good idea of what's going to happen. Because that was kind of what, after reading the books first and then seeing all the movies in my case. So there was a lot of things that kind of caught me off guard, but I thought the soundtrack was great, especially the opening. I thought the soundtrack was perfect for the opening sequence. That was a fairly cool sequence. Yeah. It's a little dark, which I get it, but it's black characters dressed in black next to a black night sky. It's like, you could maybe change that up a little bit, but that's neither here nor there. And there's only just a couple things that kind of just irked me, like some fan servicey things. Yeah, I don't know if Nicholas Flamel needed to be there. I mean, it's a cool throwback, and then you see the Philosopher's Stone if you're not in America, or the Sorcerer's Stone. Yeah, and I'm like, and that stuff's cool, but I'm like, did it need to be here? It's also like, granted, at least in her case, it could probably be future movies will probably help with that, but like at this point, adding Nagini and her thing with her being like a person before she became Voldemort's snake was a little weird, which I don't doubt that they'll do more with in future movies, but it was kind of like...
They introduced that, and then she was just there.
It's kind of the only thing. Like
she didn't say much. She didn't offer much to the story. She was just there.
I mean, I can already see what's going to happen down the road with her character and how she'll have an impact, but like... Yeah, there's just a thing. But for the most part, yeah, I enjoyed the movie. I think it's cool that, and I almost kind of hope it's a major point of these movies, is that we see a different realm of the Wizarding World. The first movie was in New York, and this one's in Paris. Maybe the next one they're in like Venice or something. I don't know. You just kind of go all over the place. Or Germany. I mean, you could probably end up in Nuremberg because that's where...
Quarryville, PA.
Yeah, why not? That'd be really funny.
Would be good.
But I mean, because like, and that's cool because like seeing just how the French are different and sort of things like that. And they bring up a lot of plot points from the first one, but yeah, it's a fine movie.
Yeah, I'd say it was fine. I mean, it had some really cool moments for sure. Soundtrack was great, some good performances and everything. My one thing is that it was literally the same pace the entire fucking time.
Yeah.
This is 2 hours and 14 minutes of the same exact pace. There's not much dipping in that at all. And it started to get to the end, and I was like, I really didn't think it was getting there because I'm like, oh, it's still building up. We still got a little ways to go. And I'm like, no.
It's the first half of a movie.
Yeah. I'm like, no, we're at the end. I'm like, holy shit. Like, I'm not saying nothing happens. It's just, it's a very steady, slow burn sort of pace, which I think, this movie is on its own probably not the best, but probably when all 5 of these are done, it has its important place in it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I feel like with Harry Potter, potentially it was the same way.
Yeah.
But, the movies were also made, most of the books were out and everything, then the movies started to be made. So people kind of knew what was already happening. Like I said, no one knows really what's going to... You might know where ultimately it's going to end up.
Yeah.
But, yeah. That was my... I'd say that's my biggest gripe with the movie. It's just the same pace. I mean, like I said, some cool things happen, but... yeah. I mean, I think it's a little hard to talk about this movie without spoiling it.
Yeah. I think the only other things would be I thought Jude Law did really good.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I also thought Johnny Depp
fantastic.
He did really good. It's one of those things, though, with looking at him, and this is maybe the only time I'll reference a review that I saw because I kind of agree with it. Johnny Depp has this uncanny ability to just lose himself in a role.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas Jude Law was Jude Law. Yeah. He just happened to be playing Dumbledore, but he was Jude Law. Whereas Johnny Depp, it's like, oh, this is like some different kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. Again, I'm mostly used to... He mostly plays these big, bombastic personalities, so he's yelling a lot, and it's much more just...
Yeah.
Like, controlled, and I'm like... There's a big speech, which is like in the trailers towards the end, and I'm like... Alright, you sold me.
Yeah,
you sold me on this.
He was very good in that section of the movie. There was a few times where he pronounced some words or his lips moved very Jack Sparrow-like when he said it. I don't know if you noticed that.
A couple
Just
of times,
the way he said certain things, how he like moves his lips as Jack Sparrow if you've seen the Pirates of the Caribbean movies. And don't get me wrong, they're two totally different fucking characters.
Yeah,
but,
100%.
But I guess that's, I like Johnny Depp as an actor. He's phenomenal. Also, I love Eddie Redmayne as Newt. My favorite part about Newt is that he's very awkward.
I forgot. I wanted to watch Fantastic Beasts again before this, and I haven't. So then going into this, I was like, "Oh yeah, right. This is gonna get good when you just
yeah." Or like, I'm not gonna spoil what it is, but there's something that he hands to somebody at the end, and he's just like, and it's like very awkward to watch. Like the way he's holding it up, he's not even looking at the person. He's not saying anything. He's just holding up. He's like, yeah. I like that. To be honest with you, it's something different.
Yeah,
I think he does a good job at it.
And Ezra Miller, I mean, he did a fine job as Credence or Credence
Clearwater Revival.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, what would you give this before we maybe talk some details?
I give it like a 7.5. 7.5 seems fairly fair. I'd put this as a very middle of the pack Harry Potter movie. Probably right around where I would put the first one. And like Goblet of Fire is where I would put it at least in my personal rankings. That's like right in the middle. It's like a good middle of the pack. It's not the worst. I mean, it's no Half-Blood Prince or Chamber of Secrets, but it ain't no Order of the Phoenix or Deathly Hallows Part 2.
Right.
So, right in the middle.
It reminded me... I might get shit for this, but it reminded me in a way of Deathly Hallows Part 1.
Yeah.
Like, that movie is 2 hours, and to be quite just blunt, not a whole lot happens in that movie.
Uh-huh. I would not disagree with you on that front. I mean, it's the first half of the book. The first half of any book, but especially any Harry Potter book, is really dry.
And me watching all the movies this year and Fantastic Beasts, the thing I always take away from them is like there's cool things that happen, there's cool character moments along the way, but it's mostly kind of a slower pace, slower burn until the last half an hour, 45 minutes, and then it's just boom, 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 boom,
and then like
all this crazy shit happens at the end. And then you're like, well, fuck, I gotta watch the next one now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Harry Potter movies know how to end.
They very much do.
Like every single one.
Every single one of them is fantastic at ending. I'd say this one has a good ending. Doesn't rank highly amongst the endings of all these movies in my opinion, but it's still good. You know? I'd give it 7.5. I think it's totally fair score. Alright, so we're going to talk spoilers. If you've seen the movie, keep listening and watching. If you have not, come back. Go see the movie first.
Yeah.
So, you being the big Wizarding World guy, there's some things that irked you.
It's just
you don't get.
So, there's a flashback sequence, which I thought was really cool, where you explore Newt and Leta Lestrange during their Hogwarts days, and you see Dumbledore teaching them, but then like he's teaching a class, like it's like the Aurors or somebody shows up in like early in the movie, and he's teaching a class, and he's teaching Defense Against the Dark Arts, and I'm like, that's not in the books. He's a Transfiguration professor, and that's like what it is. Now, granted, I could assume there are characters who have swapped things. I mean, Snape was a potions master, and then in the 6th book, he became Defense Against the Dark Arts. So that's possible. Also, I mean, the movie canon could technically be somewhat different than the books. They don't have to. I mean, the movies are different than the books, so it's kind of unavoidable. That was like the only like lore thing that sort of bothered me. I mean, the big reveal at the end, but yeah. I'll save that because the other thing that I thought, which was cool, what I alluded to earlier, was they got me on the whole Lita Lestrange thing there at the end when I was like, oh, she's gonna do it, and then she's like, oh. I mean, granted, because of characters like Bellatrix, you're just like, oh, she's gonna become a dark witch, and it's just, But I'm like, oh, that's super cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
so, she
was well done.
And like the backstory with her character and how everybody thought that Credence was her brother, but then she swapped babies or something, and I'm like, woof.
And then that baby died.
And I was like, and then I had this thought. I don't know if they said it, and I'm like, is that the Titanic?
Yeah.
No, the Titanic went the other way. So no, it's not the Titanic. But I was like, is that the Titanic? Is that what happened here? But like, it was a few interesting things like that. But and then the big bombshell, like a weird 2-punch at the end of the movie, was they revealed where Fawkes comes from. There's like a little thing that Grindelwald makes into a phoenix, and then reveals that Credence is a Dumbledore.
Lost Dumbledore.
The Lost Dumbledore, which is news to me.
So it ended and he revealed his name, and I was like, okay. And I sat there, I'm not super into this stuff. I don't know, a ton of details like you do. And I'm like, I'm fucking lost at this right now. And I turn to you and I'm like, not being a super big Harry Potter fan, I'm lost. And you're like, I am too. And I'm like, I'm not crazy. All right.
Like there's literally nothing up until this point that points to that. Now there's a lot of fan theories. It'd be a weird one. It would be which would, now that I think about it, would be really funny. It would be a sort of Last Jedi-esque thing if it's just like Grindelwald lied. It's not true. Which would seem a little bit weird at that point, but there's a couple other things that I literally just saw before this where it's like, it's Ariana's, Dumbledore's sister, it's her son, and the term brother is more, like a ubiquitous term, but I mean, who knows? We got 3 movies to figure this out, but I'm like...
So there's nothing in the books that hints at Dumbledore having like this lost brother.
Nope. He has one brother and one sister, and then sister dies. The other brother works a shitty bar in Hogsmeade.
Right.
And has a fascination with a goat. It's one of the things that's just in the book. So, I mean, yeah, it's cool. I'm like, whatever. Like I said, I'm okay with the idea that the books and the movies are separate because, I mean, that's how a lot of mediums go, Yeah, but it's just
Game
like...
of Thrones.
Yeah.
And The Walking Dead at this point.
With
both of them are vastly different. Obviously, Game of Thrones has surpassed
which is fine.
It
keeps it interesting. You know what I mean? Because then it's like the unexpected can happen. I know a lot of people are not happy about some of, like... Especially probably that one. Now that I saw like when they with the Defense Against the Dark Arts thing, I was like, okay, I mean that's annoying, but I don't see why people would be super upset. And then that happened, and I'm like, that's why everybody's upset, or a lot of people are. But a lot of the reviews I'm seeing, you either love this movie or you were like, it's a good movie. You're like, this movie is terrible. Why? But yeah, there's good stuff. I liked. Also, the thing with Grindelwald where he's like, I don't hate Muggles. They're not inferior, they're just different. And I'm like, he sounds so much like Dumbledore, except it's, with that kind of stuff, but it's also very, what's the word I'm looking for? Foreboding. And it's like, he's obviously doesn't mean it in a good way. Right. But it's like, whoa. So.
Yeah. So you do see, Albus Dumbledore's relationship to Grindelwald in this movie, kind of like confirming that.
Yeah,
that they were very close with each other, and they made this like blood pact sort of thing.
Yeah, there's another little thing that just kind of that's another thing that just kind of bothered me because like it's implied very much in like the books and somewhat that the reason Dumbledore didn't fight Grindelwald was because he was afraid that somehow that Grindelwald. So all right, so TLDR of it, they got in a fight at one point. There was a duel between the two Dumbledore brothers and Grindelwald, and somewhere in the crossfire, that's where his sister died. But they don't know who's responsible. And the reason it's implied in the books is that he doesn't fight Grindelwald is because he thinks he knows. Dumbledore thinks Grindelwald knows, and he doesn't want to know if it was actually him. So it's more out of fear. This is like, I don't know. It's more of a. This seems like a plot device. Just stretch it out while they try to figure this out, which is whatever. But yeah, the only other thing is, Queenie goes evil, which or not evil. She joins Grindelwald, which I was like, which I thought they did well. But it caught me off guard. I was like, that's. Yeah, that was one of the main thing. I'm like, that's the one thing that and the Lestrange thing. I was like, I was not expecting this going into it. How I'm used to the Harry Potter formula of how things work. I'm like, oh, that's different. Yeah. So
the ending was pretty intense though, with Grindelwald basically trying to have everyone join him, sort of thing. Like
join or die with the fire. I'm like,
yeah, I thought that was very, very well done. I didn't expect that to be the ending though. So when it started going, I'm like, okay, this is definitely the end, and holy shit. That was really, really, really well done. So, I don't know. Is this the Fantastic Beasts storyline all about Grindelwald?
I would assume so now at this point.
What is the end of it? You know what I mean?
Probably when Dumbledore beats Grindelwald. Okay. It's either that or somehow they work it again, and that would. Well, I don't know. Some people might like it, but it might piss some people off if somehow it's actually Newt that does it. But he's like, I don't want this super wand because that is the Elder Wand that Grindelwald has throughout the movie, which is a nice little detail. Again, keeping with the books, but it's like because it would seem weird if these movies ended and it's Dumbledore that beats Grindelwald. It would because Newt's the main character, but then again, that would really make a lot of people mad. But I mean, that's where I would see it would end. It would end right around World War II, so we got like another 20 years to go before at least in terms of in universe time.
Where's Harry Potter's? When is that set again?
90s.
90s. That's what I thought.
It's in the 90s, so it's like 50 years. Yeah, 50-year difference. It's yeah. I mean. I was also very much convinced when they were talking about families for Credence. This is another book reference. I thought he was going to be like a Gaunt, which is the wizarding ancestor of Voldemort. I thought that's where they were going to go with it. I'm like, he's going to be, a Gaunt, and then he's going to, turn bad, and that's going to lead to things. But yeah, whatever. Like I said, you can do whatever you want. Nothing in this movie. Gets me super excited. I mean, I guess I am excited for the next one to see where they go, but it's not like the first one where I was like, well, this is really good to see what's going to happen. But like nothing is like, oh, I'm never watching these movies ever again. These movies suck. It's like, it's a fine movie. Yeah. I had fun. I'm planning on seeing it again.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's good. I mean, I'm interested in where it's going.
Yeah. Sure. Cool. Yeah.
That's it. Let us know what you thought of Fantastic Beasts: The Crimes of Grindelwald. And we'll see you later.
Yep.